What's up, Metal Brethren? Scott Tannic one coming at you again live from the dungeon with something a little bit different today. It's going to be a three-part series on a band slash artist review. The reason why it's going to be in three parts is because you can't really talk about this particular artist without talking about the three stages of his evolution in his career. And that artist is Glenn Danzig, who is personally my favorite musician of all time. Um, we're going to get into phase one, the Misfits, founded in 1977. Pretty much a horror punk rock group. Started in Lodi, New Jersey. It started out as a three-piece, actually, with Glenn Danzig playing pretty much guitars and keyboards plus singing. It had Jerry Only on bass, and I forget the third cat who was, because he's had so many different drummers, especially in the Misfits, for example, that it just kind of escapes me, that guy's name. Sorry about that. No disrespect to unknown drummer out there. Anyway, like I said, it's a horror punk group. Kind of one of those underground bands that, started off in the 70s, late 70s, and just kind of developed a cult following. There's a lot of tales about the Misfits, and one of them is, they got started out at like CBGB's, but yet they didn't want to pay him, so Glenn decided never to play that place again, and they really got their start, and they popped at a small club in Kansas City, which I can't remember also. Sorry to sound kind of uninformed, but I mean, I know the stuff, but it's just escaping me right here at this moment. Um, Not a whole lot of a discography with the Misfits with Glenn Danzig. There was a couple albums, Walk Among Us and Earth AD, but there was a lot of EPs and singles, which were Beware, Three Hits from Hell, Evil Live, Cough Cool, Bullet, Night of the Living Dead, and Halloween. Now, this band is, in my opinion, pretty great. Um, but it was kind of short lived, from 77 to 83. And, there was a lot of classic tracks that come out under the Misfits banner. And, just to name a few off the top of my head, probably She, Bullet, Horror Business, Night of the Living Dead. Metallica covered a couple really good ones, which were, of course, Last Caress, Green Hell. Some personal favorite tracks of mine are probably Hellhound, Demonomania, Hybrid Moments. Just some really, really, really great stuff. Now, this is kind of a sore subject with Glenn. He don't really like to talk about it because there was a lot of struggling after he departed that band with the rights to the band and people wanting to continue on under the Misfits banner. And eventually he just gave in, just like, to hell with it. I'm better off with the projects that I got going on now, and that, that was just the history of that band. Um, I've heard some of the live stuff by the Misfits, and, I wasn't really alive long enough to really experience the Misfits live, but I heard them on, CDs and records, and they didn't sound the greatest live. I could see why this band kind of didn't really take off. They got really a cult following. They sound a lot better on vinyl and album than they ever did live. Glenn Danzig, was a principal songwriter in this band. Kind of didn't really let any of the artists have very much freedom with it. So, that's what it is. Me personally, it's my least favorite of Glenn Danzig's career for this reason and this reason alone. It's just towards the end, it got really campy and tongue-in-cheek, which is great, but at the same time, I'm just, I didn't really dig on the vibe of what was the Misfits. I mean, I really like them. I like the historic factor of the Misfits, especially with it being, the first band Glenn Danzig ever started, and I think he was like 16, 17 when he started this band, and, but it was very short-lived, and there's a lot of polarization between the fans or the Fiend Club, what have you, between the Glenn Danzig incarnation of this band and Jerry Only's incarnation of this band. Me personally, without Glenn, this band ain't worth a shit. I don't like any of the stuff that Jerry Only has taken the helm of. I think a lot of it's just remanufactured, just recycled garbage. I can't really get behind it at all. Um, I wouldn't review any of their records because I heard one. I think it was oh, what the hell was the name of that? Like American Psycho or something. Really just bad. I just really don't get into Michael Graves as a vocalist, who was like the vocalist in the Jerry Only incarnation of this band, and I just, I couldn't get behind it. It's not, you know, to me, it's not Glenn Danzig. Glenn Danzig has a signature voice, especially in that band in particular, and without Glenn, it's just really not worth my time. A lot of you may disagree, though. I know they're still touring, making records and whatnot, so there's still got to be a fan base for it. But me personally, without Glenn, no dice. I'm going to go ahead and rate this stage or this band, and I'm going to give them a 4 out of 5, just for the fact that a lot of the riffs in these songs and albums were just kind of generic, mediocre punk rock, which punk's really not my thing. I mean, I like some punk bands, this one being the top one. I really like Black Flag and DRI, but just punk just really never hit with me the way metal does. So hit me down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Are you a giant Misfits fan? Or are you just like me, kind of like, pretty cool? Take it easy, metal brethren. Scatanic One here, signing off. Stay tuned for parts 2 and 3 of the Glenn Danzig artist review.